When we think of 2021, what do we think of, Elizabeth?
I think lockdown, being stuck inside, not being able to go anywhere, being thoroughly fed up. But I also think we had some of the highlights of our entire cruising career.
We did. We managed to pack in loads this year. So we're going to have a little retrospective view, look back at some of those things that you may have missed this year. But also, more importantly, we're going to be discussing what we plan to do in 2022, and they are potentially very exciting. We did manage to get plenty of sailing in this year despite lockdown. We're going to come on to that in a moment, but unfortunately the lockdown of course did impact on our cruising plans.
Yes, what happened here in Malaysia is that in 2020, in March 2020, the whole country locked down, closed the ports, and they haven't still opened to this day. Certain amount of movement was allowed at some points, but for most of the time we were locked down in Sabah within the districts within Sabah itself. So our little world got smaller and smaller and smaller.
Yeah, and I think it was too much for some of our cruising friends who we said goodbye to this year. Jason and Lee returned to Australia. It's going to be sad to see these guys go. They've been our neighbours next door to us, so we've had to put up with their toilet
noisy
noise
and smells.
But you know, here's the thing, as liveaboards, you know, we have said goodbye to so many people and then seen them again somewhere down the line. I've said it before, but the cruising world is a small one. At the moment we have no plans to go to Australia, but you know, with the situation changing all the time, who knows? And that was a 2,500 mile sail, and it meant that they couldn't stop through Indonesia, so it was a pretty furious sail. We're happy to announce that they continue to travel around Australia. I think they're now in the northeast corner heading towards the Whitsundays. Yes. So well done, Jason and Lee.
And of course we lost Graham and Magda. There was a window, a tiny window of opportunity for them to go back to the Philippines, which is where Mags was born and where Graham is a resident. So we said goodbye to them.
Mags TV, hello, bye Sutura, Marina.
Don't go, we love you, Mags.
Yeah, bye.
It's going to be very boring without Mags.
Oh, yeah.
And they're doing pretty well in the Philippines, and we're still in touch with them too.
We were able to move around Kota Kinabalu during lockdown, and we really got under the skin of this great city.
And we did get some sailing in, and some of it was pretty darned good. There was that perfect day sail when we talked through sailing basics. We will put links to all the episodes that we mention in this episode in the description below.
Isn't it wonderful, Elizabeth?
It's lovely, just a lovely, lovely day. Got the line out, but not having much luck. Did catch some weed.
We don't care about fishing, we care about sailing. Look.
I know.
Look at these sails. In fact, we made the most of any wind that we could find, and we've managed to fly the Kraken this year. It's been a while, but it's just great to get all the sails out. If for no other reason than to make sure that everything is still working and not broken. We'll find out when we come to put the sails away, but for the meantime we are just going to sit back and enjoy this.
Well, we've got 4.5 knots of wind still. That's about as good as it's got so far today. We had all 4 sails out, which is a ketch, so we've got the 2 front ones and the mizzen and the main. But we put the main away and we've brought the Kraken out, and we've gone from 1.7 knots sailing to 2.5. So That'd be a lesson. Put the Kraken out earlier. Feels better. It's only half a knot or so, but it just makes all the difference. Just took out my app. It's called Nortide. What it has, apart from the usual tidal, moon, sun and all that information, is it has a little thing called activity. And in activity, you get little fish signs from 1 through to 3 fish or no fish. There's a major period and a minor period each day. We're about to come into the minor period, but today's a good day because the minor period is 2 fish, and that means very good activity. So if I don't catch anything, it's my fault, because according to this app, I should. Let's see what happens. So we got him. It wasn't in the high fish activity time, but we got him. Look at that, barbecue tonight.
Here we go, freshly cut. Look at that, nice white flesh, proper Spanish mackerel.
As we've already said, we were limited to quite a small cruising area this year, but even so, we found some new places and even some new islands.
This is one of the best spots on this coast, I think. What a beautiful little spot, eh? Look, there's Liz, just relaxing in the water there. It is very, very pretty. Need to go for a little dip in the water now, I think. Oh, just had our lovely lunch, delicious barbecue on the beach. I was just thinking how fortunate we are to be in this situation, but of course, you know, we are just making the most of our situation. We are fortunate that, you know, we are surrounded by beautiful nature. We are still in the situation where we can't go into districts, so there's only so far we can take the boat. So while we're stuck here, that's when you have the barbecue on the beach. And for those of you who like boat maintenance, this year we installed a new calorifier. That was fun.
Yeah.
Then we looked at Graham's new Rainman water maker. That was generated quite a bit of discussion in the comments. We've had problems with our VHF and our AIS. Those are ongoing. And we even discussed wear and tear on various parts of the boat, like the exhaust.
And right now we are doing a small remodelling job in both the heads and in the galley. Yet to see that.
In between state lockdowns, we did manage to do a couple of road trips. The first was the Saba tea plantation, which is still, to this day, one of my favourite spots in all of our travels.
As the state and district lockdowns came and went, we grabbed any opportunity we could in those little tiny cracks to get out and see things. So we went into the interior to see Kinabalu Park, where majestic Mount Kinabalu lives, and we also saw the pouring hot springs. Now these are 2 huge tourist destinations for Saba, but we were there on our own. So although I'm moaning a lot in this video, when we went inland, we were so well treated because we were the only people there, and we got to see things in ways that you never really do get a chance to.
I think without doubt the biggest highlight for me this year was getting into diving, and more specifically diving photography. And I quickly built up a budget camera underwater photography setup and went from taking photos like this to this.
With Jamie's newfound passion for underwater photography, I felt a little bit left out. So I thought, well, maybe I should learn to dive again. So I did my PADI open water course this year, which meant I was allowed to go along with him and help him to be his buddy diver.
So when they finally opened up state borders recently, Lindsay of Songlines 3 came up with the fantastic idea of heading to Sipadan and Kapolai Dive Resort, which is down the east coast of Sabah, to slip in some diving before the tourism starts building up again. It was such a great idea. Well done, Lindsay. You haven't seen this yet. This is an up and coming episode where we got loads of diving in, and we've got some incredible underwater photography and video footage.
It was the absolute highlight of the year for me, the highlight of the decade, and one of the highlights of my life.
Without a doubt.
Lockdown in 2021 really forced us to get to know our local area, and I mean really small local area. It was interesting. We found places we didn't know existed, and it gave us an opportunity to see things that we never normally would have stayed around long enough to see.
Yeah, looking at commentary on social media, I think that's what a lot of you have benefited from. You know, because you can't go further afield, you're focusing your energy and your passion, whatever it might be, on your doorstep, and that's not a bad thing. But we'd love to know, is that what you've been doing in 2021? How's it been for you? Do let us know in the comments. Finally, plans for 2022. Ooh. This is a movable feast, at the very least. Plans are changing literally every day, and that is because the situation both locally, regionally, nationally and internationally is changing every day. So we've got this plan. So we should explain, first of all, the surrounding countries are still locked down, generally locked down. Philippines is still closed. Thailand and Singapore are prohibitively expensive to get into. We just can't afford to do that, and they're in the wrong direction anyway. And this kind of leaves Indonesia. The problem with Indonesia is that although all of the ports are open officially, only 3 have been labelled to allow passing cruisers to check in because they have the testing facilities.
Do you know what? It changed yesterday at the time of recording to be only 1.
Yeah.
So one of our options is to go, but the port to get in there is closed. At the time of filming, it'll probably be open again in an hour. That was one of our options. The other option, because we do want to get Japan, we still do want to get to Japan, everybody, via Philippines. So that is, we are determined to go that way. We won't know to the end of this month if we're allowed to stay in Malaysia, and if we're not and we can't go to, we might well be going back to the UK for a month.
Yeah, because it's been too long. It's been over 3 years since we've been back to the UK. And I have to say, because of lockdown this year, I'm getting the point now where I'm realising seeing my family is becoming more and more important than trying to plan our immediate cruising plans for 2022. So it could be that we actually go back to the UK for a month. It will be great to see the family, pick up a whole load of sailing gear that we need to get hold of. But what it will mean is that we'll probably just take a little break at the early part of 2022, just for a few weeks while we go back and see family, if that happens.
Yes, we'll let you know.
Of course, we never forget our supporters, and they have been paramount to maintaining our sanity in 2021. God, yes. We did say goodbye to some of our supporters, but we welcome some new ones as well. So we always really do appreciate the love, the kindness and the support that they give us. It really does help us out.
It does, and actually, I tell you what, it drives us on. It really does, because there were moments of deep, dark despair, and knowing that we were bringing out a video every week and that we had people waiting to see those videos, just really, sometimes that's all we had, wasn't it?
If you would like to support us, then please do head over to followtheboat.com/pub. If you don't feel like doing that, then please just like this video.